are allowed to contact and enter into contract negotiations with agents of players who are set to become unrestricted free agents. It's also known as the legal tampering period, which is really just funny if you think about it. Our Bucs Nation reporter Jenna Lane tweets this. Source tells me that the Bucs and tight end Cameron Brate have agreed to a new deal for 6 years, $41 million. 18 of that is guaranteed. Brate had 14 touchdown catches over the last 2 seasons for the Bucs. Soon-to-be free agent quarterback Kirk Cousins tweets a statement as well. He had this to say: "What an incredible 6 years here in Washington. My childhood dream of becoming an NFL quarterback came true in this amazing city, and I have been truly blessed." This, of course, as he prepares to move on, because Kirk Cousins is a free agent, and as he has said, for the first time in 7 years, he'll have the opportunity to choose where he plays. Having said that, Lewis, let's talk about your top free agents. We talk so much about Kirk Cousins. Who else you got?
Well, if Drew Brees was a free agent, well, he is a free agent. If Drew Brees was willing to actually move, that'd be my top target if I'm a quarterback needy team. I mean, look, this is the guy who's thrown for 5,000 yards 5 times. No other player has done it more than once. All right, and that's not just because, you know, of the fact that defenses are subpar anymore. It's just because, look, the guy is just a generational player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Love Drew Brees. Second, look, Kirk Cousins is obviously one of the guys who'd be top of my list that I'd be trying to go after for the right price. I do think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he is a transcendent quarterback. I don't think he is a pillar quarterback. I don't think he's a guy who is an absolute program changer, but he is someone, if I'm one of the quarterback needy teams, I'm definitely in the market and trying to sign him. I just have limits, and I think you're going to see that other teams are going to have limits as far as Kirk is concerned also. Here's a guy who's not on many people's radar, but I'm telling you he should be, and that's Andrew Norwell of the Carolina Panthers. When you watch his tape, this guy is a tremendous athlete. He is a do-it-all interior player that can play in a power scheme, a zone scheme. He can pass protect, has very good feet, and he's very dependable, and he's young, and he's healthy. He's the kind of guy who right now is going to be in high demand, and I think he's going to reset the guard market as far as average per year. Malcolm Butler, he'd be my next guy. Look, Super Bowl notwithstanding, and you know everybody can weigh in on why he didn't play in that football game, but this is a kid who has earned everything that he has gotten in the NFL as far as the money that he has earned, the accolades that he has earned. He is a tremendous press corner, a tremendous pattern reader, and has very good finishing skills. I think he's going to make some team very happy as far as being a starting cornerback in the NFL. And then Allen Robinson, he's the guy who back in 2015 was 4th in the league, 17.5 yards per catch. He is an outside lane high riser. He's a guy who plays above the rim, who's got tremendous hands, tremendous body control, can make some absolutely wicked plus 20-yard catches down the field. It can just blow a game wide open. I'm hoping he's 100% healthy and he's ready to go in 2018. He's one of those guys you might want to protect yourself as far as future risk, as far as injury is concerned. But Allen Robinson's the truth, man, and he's one of those guys who I'd want.
A busy Wednesday, to say the least.
I'm just going to say this, and not that we're not forecasting anything, but if the Bears aren't making a call to Allen Robinson and every other available wide receiver in advance of the league year, I don't know what they're thinking, because they need to surround Mitch Trubisky with pass catchers, and I'm not sure that the answer is available for that. This is not regarded, and I'll again defer to Lewis here if he disagrees, this is not regarded as a particularly strong wide receiver draft class for the second straight year.
Yeah, not at the top, it's not. There'll be some great players. There'll be some Keenan Allen types that wind up coming off the board second, third round, who right now just aren't getting a lot of the attention, and we've seen those names start to pop up through the combine, through some of the numbers they were throwing up out in Indy. But you're right, there is not that marquee player. Look, Allen Robinson's a good player, man. We'll see what happens here, but he's a good player. He's a good player.
I think the wide receiver market's going to be high, and I'll give you a couple of names to watch that we're not hearing as much about. When we talk to wide receivers, Paul Richardson from Seattle is a guy that's going to get paid some money, and Seattle has lost Richard Sherman. It's lost Michael Bennett. It's made changes here. It's lost Jeremy Lane. I think another guy that is going to be leaving Seattle, and it's one of the reasons that they made the trade of Michael Bennett to get the wide receiver back, Marcus Johnson, that they had included in that deal, is because they think that they're going to lose Paul Richardson.
Agree.
And another guy that's going to do better than I think people had ever could imagine. A lot of people in the football world don't know the name Ryan Jensen, center, Baltimore Ravens. Lou, what would you do if I told you that Ryan Jensen could become the highest paid center in all of football?
But like I said, I think a lot of the old stereotypes about how you think of team construction need to be thrown out the window. They just do. You're going to see it in the draft. You're going to see some players get drafted much higher than conventional wisdom would say, or would say that these players should get drafted by nature of their position. I am all for fortifying the interior of your offensive line. No question. You want to pay a center? Hey, I'm all on board. You want to pay a guard? I'm all on board.
Yep.
You want to pay an inside backer? You want to pay a tight end? The game has changed. You know where I'm getting at by these positions I'm talking about. Down the middle.
Yep.
Build your team inside out. Good teams are doing
when you
that.
become a GM, we'll know where you're going.
Yep.
Right.
I'll be paying guards and centers.
We won't even call. We'll just assume. That works out well.
Ryan Jensen, by the way, teams love his edge. That dude's got a whole bunch of nasty to him. Like, if someone does something to your quarterback that's even close to being over the line,
That's well served in his position.
Ryan Jensen will be the first player to come over and say, get out of here right now.
Ryan Jensen and Field Yates share a lot of the same intangibles.
Oh, really? Yeah, I love how Field
edgy.
get out of here right now. Because that's what he's saying.
Me too, yeah.
You get out of here, you guy.
Wendy.
You go. Okay, sorry. That's not what he's saying. All right. There are some big names.
Don't sleep on Field.
Thank you. This is the draft expert right here.
I would be afraid. I think he's so rude, that Field Yates. All right, back to the business of this. Edge. There are some big names expected to be released over the next few days, and these players were all reported earlier today. So, in effect, they enter the free agent pool, and Ndamukong Suh, the biggest name on this list, he is expected to be joined by Adrian Peterson, Tamba Ali, and Ron Parker on the open market. And we show you this list, presumably, because, you know, look, they'll be in demand. They'll land in new spots. Who among them, Field, will make the biggest impact, in your opinion?
Let's not get cute. It's Ndamukong Suh. He's the best player by far on that list. Now, the question is how much you're going to be able to pay Ndamukong Suh and what scheme do you acquire him to play within. There are obvious fits. The obvious fits are anybody that has money to pay Ndamukong Suh. Those are the teams that fit for him going forward. But he is the best player in terms of talent on that list. And when you factor in age and performance, I also think he might be, could, if he plays to his max potential, be the best investment there in terms of still being in the physical prime of his career.
You're going to get tired of hearing this word, folks, but fit is so crucial when it comes to a guy like this. And we're not just talking about scheme fit. This is, look, I do believe this. I used this phrase earlier. Culture, fit, relationships, that's the new frontier. That's where people are gaining edges now. They just are. Look, for a guy like Ndamukong Suh, he needs a certain type of coaching. He needs a certain type of respect for the coach. The coach has to have a certain type of respect for him relative to what he does best. Bring him into your scheme and tell him to do something that Ndamukong doesn't want to do.
Well, we've seen that. We've seen that movie, and we saw how it ended.
We've seen it numerous times. Yeah, and you know what, Wendy, I'm telling you, teams are making big strides with that. They just are because they're paying attention to it.
I agree with you, but it's crazy to me that that's the new frontier because at the very basis, it's common sense.
You're right, but
I mean, I understand.
Hey, I've been in those meetings where it didn't happen that way, right? We brought in players who looked great in one scheme, tried to fit them into something else. They didn't get along with the coach or whatever it was. And next thing you know, this is blowing up, especially if you start losing. Because that's when things really go haywire. Because that's where free agents almost become mercenaries. Like, you know what? You didn't draft me. You're not my original team. I came here. It becomes weird in that situation.
Well, look, it's a character test for all of us, right?
That's
when things don't go well, it's easy to be a team player when things are going in your direction.
Absolutely.
Our Jenna Laine is working right now. We've heard from her once again, tweeting, source tells me that the Bucs are bringing in Brent Grimes. He will come back on a one-year deal worth $10 million. The Lions have struggled to find success in the run game, but is a 1,000-yard rush